Paul Finebaum Radio Network. You'll find the aptly named Paul Finebaum, the voice of the SEC. Joins us now as the Bobby Petrino story is still simmering there. Why is he still the head coach, or why hasn't he been fired yet, Paul?
Well, Dan, they say they don't have all the facts in yet. So I think what they're trying to do, and what that really means, is that they're trying to find out if there's nothing else, no other skeleton that falls out of that closet. And as you have said, if nothing else surfaces, he'll probably keep his job. But if there's another volleyball player or a swimmer or a cross-country runner, then he'll probably be kaput.
What about punishment if he does keep his job?
I suspect they'll follow the template that we have seen in many other venues. It will cost him money. I don't see what good it would do, considering he hasn't violated any NCAA rules, to keep him off the road or to keep him out of the spring game or something stupid like that. But they'll probably hit him in the pocketbook, which is about the only place they can really get him other than take away his job.
But if you go back to the start of this and the local media, if you're in, Fayetteville, are you trying to look for another smoking gun here? How important is Petrino to this program? And if there is something that comes out that could cost him his job?
Well, Danny's vital, and I heard you say at the top of the show he's 21-5, and that's really the only number that matters. I mean, we wouldn't be having this conversation about him or anyone else if he was a loser. He would have been fired the first day. But he is a seminal figure out there. He's the most important coach since Frank Broyles, and a lot of the audience really doesn't know who Frank Broyles is. He was the coach in the 50s and 60s and the 70s, and they haven't really, even though Lou Holtz and others, Houston Nutt, have been there since then, they haven't really had a successful coach. They love Bob Petrino in Arkansas, and that's ironic considering how much people hated him in Atlanta when he walked out of there after the Monday night game, or in Louisville for all the so-called lies he perhaps told. But in Arkansas, he has won. It's a one-dimensional state, and they care a great deal for him, and they don't want him to lose his job.
But you can't be surprised about this if you live in Arkansas, if you're the AD, with something that's attached to Bobby Petrino. But this is a little bit different than flirting with, I go to the Falcons and I'm there for not even the full season and I leave. I'm with Louisville and I'm flirting with the Raiders and another coaching job. He's done that. Now he's actually flirting, and he has somebody on the back of his motorcycle who he hires in his office. I mean, this is more than just Bobby Petrino being a football coach. It's far more than that. This is character. How does that weigh on the athletic director of, this is the guy you have, you're going to keep him employed, he's your leader, he's the face of your university?
Well, it's obvious. The issue is what went into Bobby Petrino hiring the young lady to be the head of the Razorback Foundation, whatever that means. And if he fired someone from that position for not a very good reason, then that's a mess. If he hired her in a quid pro quo, and I think everyone can figure out what that means. But other than that, I think he's going to be okay. And I'm not defending him, Dan. I think most reasonable adults can come to the same conclusion that what he has been accused of doing, or we think he did, is utterly ridiculous for a 51-year-old man. But the bottom line is that athletic departments usually look for reasons to keep coaches as opposed to get rid of them. I've seen this many, many times. We had a coach at Alabama a number of years ago named Mike Price. He got caught with two strippers in a nightclub, in a hotel, after they went at it all night long, as Sports Illustrated reported. People wanted to keep him, and he never coached a game. Bob Petrino has been to a BCS game, although I bet he wishes he hadn't taken so many shots at Jim Tressel and Terrell Pryor a couple of years ago.
I guess I'm just looking. I know. I love the SEC, though. I mean, you got a story every day, Paul.
Well, and I guess maybe you become desensitized to these situations living here as long as I have, Dan, but you see it come and go. And really, the affair doesn't bother people that much. I mean, we deal with that, whether it's Tiger Woods or as you mentioned, Rick Pitino. The issue is the hiring practices, and that's a big bugaboo. But I think as it stands, he'll get by. And I don't think the athletic director necessarily is trying to find any more dirt. He's really still trying to square the story. And Petrino just made a fool out of himself the other day, coming out in that press conference wearing a neck brace. Now, I don't know if that was before Mrs. Petrino found out or not.
Yeah, I think he keeps his job, and I think it comes back to you can't find enough good college coaches. We're not asking them necessarily to be good people. That's the problem I have. Is that sort of lost in all of this? Hey, you know what? So what? He's a little shady, but man, he can coach.
Sure. I mean, listen, you go up and down the NFL rosters, the NBA. We're talking about Isaac Keane here. I mean, nobody's hiring these guys because they're candidates to wear a red cap and become a Cardinal. These are people that can win, and that's all we care. I didn't hear anyone mention Rick Pitino in New Orleans 2 weeks ago and the situation a couple of years ago from the Italian restaurant at Augusta on Thursday when Tiger was the favorite. I didn't hear anyone mention his countless affairs. All we talk about is what they do on the court, on the field, or on the golf course.
Yeah, but we did talk about those things. And if Patino had hired that woman to be in the athletic department, then it's a little bit different with that. But I just think with this situation that we have here, he keeps his job, and by the way, showed up with his Sugar Bowl hat on with his neck brace. That to me was product placement there.
Well, and it looked like Bill Clinton, another native son and Hog fan, probably gave him that advice.
I did not have that intern on the back of my motorcycle.
You think if he's trying to decide between who to hire for PR, and if Clinton and Associates comes in, we know we're all in trouble. But Bob Petrino has left jobs in bad places, and I'm not knocking your next guest. I'm a huge fan, but so has Keith Olbermann, and he continues to get rehired.
Wow, look at you, Paul. Flame throwing. Easy there. I'm trying to get Oberman back, He just filed a lawsuit against the former vice president, all right?
Well, I know. That's why I mentioned Clinton.
All right. Hey, good to visit with you as always. Thank you, buddy.
Dan, my pleasure.
All right. Paul Finebaum.